Augustus was the founder of the Roman Empire. He was born Gaius Octavius Thurinus in 63 BC. His great-uncle was Julius Caesar, the celebrated Roman general. When Caesar was assassinated in 44 BC, Octavian was just 18 years old. He was named in Caesar's will as his adopted son and heir. Octavian was ambitious and ruthless. He quickly seized his inheritance and raised an army. He knew he had to avenge Caesar's death and defeat his rivals. His most dangerous opponent was Mark Antony, a powerful general who had been Caesar's right-hand man. Octavian's rise to power was not easy. He faced many challenges and setbacks. However, he was a skilled politician and a brilliant military strategist. He outmaneuvered his opponents and emerged victorious. In 27 BC, the Roman Senate bestowed upon him the title Augustus, meaning revered or sacred. This marked the beginning of the Roman Empire and the end of the Roman Republic. The assassination of Julius Caesar created a power vacuum in Rome. Various factions vied for control, leading to instability and civil war. Octavian, seen as young and inexperienced, needed to tread carefully. He formed an alliance with Mark Antony and Marcus Lepidus. Together, they formed the Second Triumvirate. This alliance allowed Octavian to consolidate power and eliminate enemies. He presented himself as a pious son of Rome, restoring order. Through political maneuvering and military victories, Octavian sidelined his opponents. The rivalry with Antony culminated in the Battle of Actium. Antony and Cleopatra were defeated and later committed suicide. The Second Triumvirate was initially formed to avenge Caesar's assassination and restore order to the Roman state. However, it soon became clear that the three triumvirs had their own ambitions. They divided control of the Roman world amongst themselves. Octavian took the west, Antony the east, and Lepidus Africa. The relationship between Octavian and Antony was always tense. They were rivals for power, and their alliance was one of convenience rather than genuine trust. The breaking point came when Antony divorced Octavian's sister, Octavia, and allied himself with Cleopatra. This was seen as a betrayal by Octavian and his supporters in Rome. It also provided Octavian with the perfect pretext to eliminate his rival. He declared war on Antony and Cleopatra, accusing them of seeking to rule the Roman world as a Hellenistic monarchy. The defeat of Antony and Cleopatra at Actium was a turning point in Roman history. It marked the end of the civil wars that had plagued the Republic for decades. It also paved the way for Octavian to become the sole ruler of Rome. He had successfully eliminated all his rivals and emerged as the undisputed master of the Roman world. Following his victory at Actium, Octavian returned to Rome in triumph. He was hailed as a hero. The Senate granted him unprecedented powers. He was given the title of princeps, meaning first citizen, and became the most powerful man in Rome. Although Octavian held absolute power, he was careful not to present himself as a king. The Romans had a deep-seated hatred of monarchy. Instead, Octavian maintained the facade of the Republic. The Senate continued to meet, and elections were still held. But in reality, Octavian controlled everything. He was a master of propaganda and used his position to promote his image as a wise and benevolent ruler. He commissioned countless statues and monuments in his honor. He established a standing army, creating legions loyal to him. He also created the Praetorian Guard, an elite military force that served as his personal bodyguard. Octavian's transformation from a ruthless general into a wise statesman was remarkable. He had begun his career as a teenager, fighting for his survival in a world consumed by civil war. Now, he was the most powerful man in the world, the undisputed master of Rome. Augustus implemented a series of wide-ranging reforms that transformed the Roman state. He understood that the Republic, weakened by years of civil war and corruption, needed a complete overhaul. His reforms aimed to create a more stable and efficient system of government. He restructured the Roman army, creating a professional standing army that was loyal to the emperor. He also developed a sophisticated system of taxation and administration. This allowed the Roman Empire to maintain its vast territories and finance its military expansion. Augustus also undertook a massive building program in Rome. He famously boasted that he had found Rome a city of brick and left it a city of marble. He He constructed numerous temples, theaters, baths, and aqueducts. His building projects not only beautified the city, but also provided employment for thousands of Romans. Recognizing the importance of law and order, Augustus reformed the Roman legal system. He codified Roman law and established a more efficient court system. These reforms helped to ensure justice and stability throughout the empire. The Pax Romana, an era of peace and prosperity. Augustus's reign ushered in a golden age of peace and prosperity known as the Pax Romana, or Roman peace. This period of stability and prosperity lasted for over 2 centuries. For the first time in centuries, the Mediterranean world was free from major conflicts. The Pax Romana had a profound impact on the Roman Empire. Trade flourished, and the Roman economy boomed. With the threat of piracy suppressed, goods and people could move freely throughout the Mediterranean. This led to a period of unprecedented economic growth and prosperity. The Romanization of conquered territories accelerated during the Pax Romana. As Roman law, culture, and language spread, so too did Roman ideas of citizenship and governance. This process of Romanization helped to unify the empire and create a sense of shared identity among its diverse population. The Pax Romana was a time of great intellectual and artistic flourishing. Roman literature, art, and architecture reached new heights. The Augustan Age is often considered to be the golden age of Roman literature. Patron of the arts, Augustus's cultural influence. Augustus was a great patron of the arts. He understood that art and literature could be powerful tools for shaping public opinion and promoting his vision for Rome. He commissioned countless works of art, including statues, sculptures, and buildings that glorified his reign and promoted his ideals. One of his most famous building projects was the Forum of Augustus, a grand public square that housed a temple dedicated to Mars, the Roman god of war. The Forum was adorned with statues of famous Romans, including Augustus himself, and served as a powerful symbol of Roman power and prestige. Augustus also supported writers and poets who celebrated his reign and promoted his values. The most famous writer of the Augustan Age was Virgil, whose epic poem, the Aeneid, celebrated the legendary founding of Rome and linked Augustus to the city's mythical past. Augustus's patronage of the arts helped to create a sense of national identity and pride during a time of great change and upheaval. His support for artists and writers fostered a cultural flowering that left an indelible mark on Roman civilization. A lasting legacy. The impact of Augustus. Augustus died in AD 14 at the age of 75. His reign had lasted for 41 years, and he had transformed Rome from a republic into an empire. He left behind a stable and prosperous state that would endure for centuries. His successors, known as the Julio-Claudian dynasty, continued his policies and consolidated his legacy. Augustus's legacy is immense. He is considered one of the greatest rulers in history. He laid the foundations for the Roman Empire, which would become one of the largest and most influential empires in the world. His reforms and policies shaped the course of Roman history for centuries. His influence extended beyond the Roman world. His ideas about government, law, and society influenced later civilizations, including the Byzantine Empire and the Holy Roman Empire. Even today, his name is synonymous with power, authority, and the transformation of society. The Roman Empire that Augustus founded would continue to flourish for centuries, leaving behind a rich legacy of art, architecture, literature, and law. Augustus' impact on Western civilization is immeasurable. Conclusion. The enduring significance of Augustus. Augustus was a complex and fascinating figure. He was a ruthless politician, a brilliant military strategist, and a skilled administrator. He was also a shrewd judge of character and a master of propaganda. He understood the power of image and carefully cultivated his public persona as a wise and benevolent ruler. His transformation of Rome from a republic into an empire was a remarkable achievement. He did so while maintaining the facade of republican institutions. He knew that the Roman people were not ready for a king, so he carefully concealed his absolute power behind a veil of constitutional legitimacy. Augustus's legacy is still felt today. His reign marked the beginning of the Roman Empire, which would shape the course of Western civilization for centuries. His reforms and policies left an indelible mark on Roman society. His patronage of the arts and literature helped to create a golden age of Roman culture. Augustus is rightly remembered as one of the most important figures in Roman history. He was the founder of the Roman Empire and one of the greatest rulers in human history.